old man. So today we are doing our Friday evening where we're going to sit there and talk about, human origin, space, NASA, all that good stuff. And so this is a special treat for you guys. And as you guys know, we have picked up a new sponsor, Stephanie at Open Air Properties. And the thing is I bought my piece of land from her about 6 months ago, and that was something that was a very eye-opening experience. For somebody who's buying your land for the first time, doesn't really know what you're doing. She was very accommodating. She was able to kind of help put me in the right place, and because I didn't even really know the lay of the land. I mean, I got on a bus from Florida and came here to Arizona. I mean, she put me in a perfect spot, and she's definitely a friend of the channel, and she's a rebel just like you and I. So let's show her some support because here in Phoenix, it was 100 degrees today, but here in Concho, it was 75 degrees. And, you know, um, life stays cooler when you're near the water. And so she's also got some properties in Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas. And Alamosa, Colorado has some of the most beautiful sunsets. And I'm gonna sit there and say that I think that Concho actually has more beautiful sunsets. I've never seen such a beautiful sunset, and I've been up and down the East Coast. Um, so here's if you decide you want to move on a piece of property before the end of the weekend. So this is Mother's Day. If you want to get your wife a gift, something that will help sustain her when the world falls apart, or anything along those lines, you could definitely think about, going and checking out some of the properties that Stephanie has at openairproperties.net. The offer that she has up until the end of this weekend is that you can skip a monthly payment this summer with a skip payment coupon. So between now and the end of August or September, you'll have to ask her for specific details. Her link and her contact page is down in the description if you would like to go ahead and go to her website and ask her that question directly. But you have until the end of the summer to skip a payment. So as you move in, if you need to be able to take some extra money and get your IBC totes or get some other things out of the way so that you're set up, this is something great. And it doesn't matter whether it's in Concho, Colorado, or Arkansas. And also, if because she's not only a friend of the channel, but she wants to make sure that you guys get an extra special deal. If you use the promo code Friar Tuck, you will get $50 off of your deposit when buying the land. And you can couple it with this weekend's deal, just so that you know. So act before Monday to get this special offer from Stephanie and use the promo code Friar Tuck to get $50 off of your deposit. Thank you, Stephanie, for being such a great friend to the channel and making episodes like this possible for the group. All right. So, oh man, you had some things. Some of the viewers were making some suggestions to you about some stuff. So, what did you look into that some of the people were suggesting? Because you were saying something like that over the phone.
Oh, one of the things I want to start out by is when we're talking about one of the people who wrote those books. I did recommend a book, Billy Carson, but Billy Carson also he teamed up with another scientist slash uh, guy who gets into human origins. Also, his name is Matthew LaCroix, and this is the book right here.
LaCroix.
Yeah, LaCroix. That's it. Anyway, young guy coming up really good. Him and Billy Carson went
Was
ahead.
this one of the books that was suggested by one of the viewers?
No, this is what I had last week. I didn't. I really wanted to make a big deal on this because when I got it with the signatures of both the authors on there, so which is real special to me. But anyway, um, he's they wrote a book together called the Epic of Humanity. If you really want to get started on human origins, highly recommend you start on this book, and then when you in this book, a whole bunch of other rabbit holes are going to open for you,
So
and you'll just start just digging, and it's really fun and interesting, and that's what I like to do anyway.
okay, so suggestions for reading. Okay, so let's see what some of the viewers say because we just got. So I want to say hi to Beth, hi to Occult. So the old man said hi. Okay, what's up, Kung Fu? All right. Do we have any openairproperties.net? Speak with Stephanie. Code Friar Tuck. Yes. Okay. What's up, Edward? Yes, yes, you did, and it's all down in the description. Okay, Matthew Lacroix. Okay, appreciate. Okay, so what is it that he? Give us a brief book report. Like, give me like a 60-second overview of why this is such an important book to read.
Well, they start out at the beginning of known time for man. All right, and I haven't read it yet, but I've read the whatever they call that in the back.
Oh, the back of it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we'll call it the back of the book. I'm sure, whatever. Anyway,
Okay.
it starts from the time that we can record humanity up until now, and it
I,
goes through just not really detailed, but kind of gets you started in what you want or what area you want to go into. I mean, you can go into like mainly if you want to go into like Egyptian studies, which is man, that's really exciting right now because you got the pyramids where they did all the X-rays and stuff like that. Yeah,
so
it's
does he
really
go back before the Sumerians, or does he only go back as far as the Sumerians?
no. He goes back. He goes back as far as what was it? Man is only what 250,000 years old. We're not that old, and we're not even native of this planet.
You know,
So,
I disagree. Because if you look at Ardipithecus, have you seen the documentary Discovery did about her? They found her in like the 80s, and then they did a documentary in the late 90s about her. She's like 2.1 million years old or something like that, and they're actually starting to find some of the missing links. It's they found her in they found her in Africa, and then right as that documentary was wrapping up, they found an even older skeleton in South America. So I think that humanity's much older than just 250,000 years old. I think we're at least 5 million years old as far as like our evolution to be able to get to this point, because it took us a long time to go from oral tradition to written tradition. I mean, it wasn't until what was it like around I don't know, like 2 or 3,000 BC that people started writing things down.
yeah, my time. I used to know that number like that. I don't remember what the number is about how old man is, but um, the Earth is older than man, and
Well, of
I,
course.
and all I know, well, man was planted here. Man isn't indigenous here. Man was if you look at some of the books and look at some of the history and through the tabloids, through the tablets and stuff like that, you'll see, and your imagination will go with you, and you start thinking outside the box too. So that's what
But
I like to do, is think outside the box.
let me contradict you on this then, because according to Meyer, so you and I we talk about Star Trek because you're I'm a Next Generation fan. You like the original Captain Kirk, correct?
I like both of them.
Oh, you like both of them? Okay, I always thought that you were just a main Trekkie fan. But anyways, they had the Prime Directive, right? And
Correct.
what was the purpose of that Prime Directive?
Not to interfere with the life on that planet,
Why?
because you didn't want to. Uh, I guess they didn't
You
want
don't
to
want to
interfere. They didn't want to interfere with the evolution of man or the evolution of that person, the
of
indigenous.
that planet, yes,
Yeah.
because it was on its own evolutionary chain that was not there to be disrupted. Well, the thing is there was man that was on this planet, but right now even science says that there's a gap that we just can't figure out, because we've got things that like 450,000 year old skeletons all the way back to like 2.1 million years old. But yet we
Well, that
don't
gap.
understand like how everything went. And so in the same way, you had visitors that came from another area that violated that prime directive. And by violating that prime directive, that's the whole thing about Billy Meyer. Why Billy Meyer is important is because this is the story that he tells, is that the brown people, which would be like either the Hindus or the Native Americans, I'm not sure which color brown he's talking about, but the brown people are the native ones to the planet. All the other races, so like the Asian race, the yellow man comes from the planet Nissen, which is I think is really funny considering the car name. Us, we are actually descendants from what the people that Billy Meyer talks to. You have the black race, and they're from a different planet. You have each different skin colors from its own different planet, because each planet has one specific skin tone. That's really the baffling thing about this whole thing. So yeah, the prime directive was violated.
Let me tell you a theory that I heard, and I don't know where I heard it from, but it kind of makes sense to me. I mean, as far as if you look at the human race, slavery's been around forever. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. What I'm about ready to tell you. Now, look back in the day in Egypt when they had the spaceships and they had the Egypt was like the crown jewel, and then you were in Mesopotamia. Just think that you were back then at that time, right?
Hmm.
Oh shit. So you're back at that time. I forgot the point I was trying to make. Help me out here.
I was kind of having a hard time figuring out where you were trying to go with this as well. That's fine. We'll just chalk it up to being old. You know.
Whatever. No, it'll be a second. Anyway, man. Oh shit. What was I thinking?
Well, you were talking about Egypt, and you wanted to really talk about Egypt as far as like origins and stuff like that. But you were talking about UFOs. That's like there are some people that talk about UFOs when it comes to when it comes to Egypt, but there's very little that's talked about with it. Most of the UFO talk comes from the Sumerian tablets and the so-called planet Nibiru, which is a mistranslation, which I think is actually the destroyer comet, or it could also be Apophis, because it comes through about every 2,500 years.
Oh man. Um,
Okay.
are you
Check
talking?
comments, please. Yes, Beth, I'm reading. If you guys want comments, make sure you put them in all caps, and over time, I will interrupt and answer comments. So Brian says that sent here to have a human experience. Well, that doesn't really matter, Brian, because what really matters is like, where did we originate from? The we're not. uh, we were supposed to grow up in a completely different ecosystem, with a completely different experience. And so, therefore, being transplanted robs us of that experience. So, um, uh, not necessarily. Why do you say not necessarily, Beth? How could it be preserved that long time? Um, she was in the sediment. You go look up Ardipithecus. It was a big documentary done in like the late '90s, early 2000s on the Discovery Channel. Okay. Yes. Please put questions in capital letters. Yes. And if you keep reminding people of that, Beth, so that I know which ones are side conversations and which ones aren't. So, oh man, what is your fascination with the pyramids?
Oh,
Yes, Ardipithecus.
I've been fascinated with the pyramids for a while, but the pyramids been kind of stale for years and years because they've always shot down all the theories and all the hypotheses and everything, and now because of they had this satellite go over the pyramids, and
Uh-huh.
what the satellite did was it detected sound, and that's all it did was these little minute sounds deep inside the earth. Well, what they did is kind of like an X-ray, and they see where there's like I think it's 8 pillars, kind of like when you build a house, you got pillars down to keep it.
It's underneath the Sphinx, isn't it?
No, it's underneath the. It's underneath all of the pyramids that they took pictures of.
Okay, so I saw a video way back when, before YouTube started doing censorship. It was probably 2009 or 10. I saw a video that came out of Egypt. This guy, he's an archaeologist, and he ends up going down into a cavern underneath the Sphinx and finding like giant sarcophaguses and like pillars and all kinds of stuff. Like there
Right.
was a library underneath that. And as soon as that became public, I think, with because I saw it like within a few days of it being released, It was immediately taken down by the Egyptian government, and we've never heard anything about it. And apparently, the guy was complaining about being shut out by the Egyptian government. So as soon as he figured out what was under there, they're like closed it off and pulled him away from it and completely shut it down. So if they're saying it's underneath the pyramids, I'm wondering if they're just using the pyramids as the location, but not really including the Sphinx and all that other stuff. Because from what I saw, that was something that happened. But like, it's one of those news reports that you find and then gets deleted immediately.
Right.
Um, they're in the Sphinx. Okay. Um,
Well, did you know on top of the Sphinx they found a hatch? And from my understanding, and it's kind of sketchy, from what I hear and understand, they've taken that hatch off the Sphinx, and it's like, oh, look what we discovered. But we've known it's been there forever. And I'm gonna tell you right now, back when they discovered that there was caverns down there, they've known there's been caverns down there before. They just didn't want anyone to know because you know what they were doing?
hmm,
They're going down there and they're stealing the technology themselves. I think I have no proof, but I think, and it makes sense. You ever went down there and looked at stuff, and it's always, oh wow, there's nothing here, and it's all gone.
hmm.
And they say it's all the grave robbers. Well, you know who the grave robbers are? It's the government that's in charge there. Or I don't really believe that there are. There may be
No,
some
there
grave
there there
robbers.
are grave robbers,
There are,
but they're state actors probably
but
trying
anyone
to
that
loot it
doesn't know
for
there's any
personal
cities
treasure.
underneath the pyramids, how would you know? Why would it be empty? Shouldn't be empty. And they also say that's the hall of the ancient hall of the library ancient something where all the
Yeah,
secrets of humanity are kept. That's
yeah.
why why a lot of people think that's what a lot of people think is down there.
Well, no, here's the thing. Billy Meyer actually talks about this. And in the 70s, the group that was down there was actually the ones that they were removed off of the planet because they were interfering. So they were okay. Think of like Stargate. You know how the aliens came down and kind of enslaved the people and stuff like that. But instead of setting themselves up as gods like they did in Stargate, what they did is they had a special, not necessarily like a contraption, like a piece of technology that allowed them to do like holographic projections and stuff like that. So you remember the story about the little kids that saw the vision of the Virgin Mary and the three prophecies and all that? That was them. And that's pretty much the last time that I know of that we've heard of anything miraculous like that, miraculously happening like that. They were a race that was about to go extinct, and so this was the last group of them that was here. And so because they were being disruptive, still trying to cause the annihilation of humanity, they're called the Giza intelligence if you look up the Billy Meyer stuff. So if you look up the Giza intelligence, it'll talk about exactly what you're talking about there.
Mm.
But you'd have to go look up Billy Meyer if you want to. Just type in Billy Meyer Giza intelligence, and it's Meier. So Bucknut, I see you. Okay, let's see. Bucknut's here. Okay. Please put questions in all caps, guys. Okay. If you don't put your
Yeah, Jason.
questions in all caps, I won't be able to see them. Come on, with thumbs up helps the algorithm. Yes, it does. All right, guys. So, what do you think of that, old man?
Well, here's what I got to say about the pyramids. And NASA years ago has
Hey,
pictures
invisible.
of that there is pyramids not only on Mars but also on the moon. And then they've also said that the moon is hollow. And I think that that's the reason why everyone's racing to the moon real quick, because I think there was inhabitants there, and whatever they left there, and maybe we can use their technology or something like that. But it's better than technology we have, I think, right now. And I really think that once we get up there on the moon and on Mars, like I said, they're pyramids. They've got pictures of pyramids on both these planets. Well, the moon is the moon, and the Mars is a planet. But anyway, on both these places, they've got pyramids, and NASA has pictures to prove it. So all I'm saying is, if the pyramids down here uh, look exactly like the ones up there, just think what may be up there when we go up there.
Well, okay, let's going back to Billy Meyer because you and I know that this whole thing. Moon served as a space station. Yeah, it's a satellite. Um, and so, what my if you guys watched the interview I did with one who studies, he's actually the author of From the Stars to Mars. But one of the things that I've read within the Meyer material is that the people that were here that built the pyramids were technologically advanced, because if you look at it, those were built before all the other ones that are completely falling apart. And he said that that they were using a gravity type technology to move these blocks, and that's why they were able to do it. So think of like Star Wars, the new ones, where they're pushing little carts, but it's all gravity, anti gravity. So therefore, they can move these big old blocks all over the place, and that's how they built it. And so the inhabitants, after they left, tried to recreate it, and so that's why we see the falling apart pyramids that we have today. The Egyptian pyramids. Yes. The pyramids are, according to Meyer, is that they were not only a source for energy, because um, the water used to flow through the pyramids, through the center of them, and so therefore they would get like hydroelectricity through that. Plus the way with the what was it, they're using brass or something like that at the top, which is the ultimate triangle. That allows you to do astral projection and things like that. So if you need to go and communicate telepathically, or project yourself to another planet, you have the ability to do it. Meyer has something like this in his area, where basically people that have gone in there to do their own meditation talk about levitating and ending up upside down and the whole nine yards, because it's such a specific conduit that it really allows you to harness the true spiritual energy of what's going on inside you. So, um, I think Atlantis blew up. All the stories point they had 0 point technology. Yeah, well, again, Tommy Meyer talks about that too. He says that it was two colonies from outer space, from travelers. They end up like warring against each other over time, and it was basically a battle of technology between scientists and non-scientists, and they took an asteroid and hurled it at Atlantis, and that's what sunk it.
Hmm.
So, but those are just things. I read it. Whether or not it's true, we'll never know until,
Hey,
like, unless you get to the end.
I got something we hadn't talked about this. I don't think we've
Mhm.
ever talked about this, but check this out. I learned. I'm in the process of learning something,
Okay.
and it has to do with the Mormon Church.
Okay. What is this? This will be interesting.
I know that's what I thought too. It has to do with the what do they call it, the Templars. What do they call that?
The Knights Templar? Is that what you're talking about?
I think yeah. Anyway, check this.
Okay, so yeah, which turned into Freemasons later on. Yes. Okay, so we're okay. Yeah, this is this
I
is this is all knowledge. Okay, go ahead.
really I didn't know
Yeah,
all that stuff about all the and
I've
yeah.
been trying to tell you for years. You've been telling me I was fucking nuts.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't care because I didn't really get into it. Now this is the first I heard about all that crap that what the Freemasons and because when I was over in Korea, this dude, nice guy, he outranked me and everything. And he asked me, he says, "Hey man, you wanna? I'm a Freemason." And he said, "You wanna get into it?" And he told me about it. And it's like,
You
no,
should have.
huh?
You should have.
I didn't.
Here's the there's if you go into any city that's started up, it was started around a Masonic lodge. Even there in your city where you're at, I got to meet the head of the lodge, as I was, remember when I was doing the video stuff and I was doing the event at the airport across the street.
You,
I
you
ended
know
up
what?
getting.
What really intrigued me though is the levels they go up to. They go up to. They say you can go up to 32, but the highest
Mhm.
level you can get is 33. And this dude was telling everything about it. Hello.
Well, you know what, old man? Yeah. I'm sorry. This is I've known this for probably. 15, 20 years. So this is
You know
like,
this what I'm talking about?
oh yeah, yeah. See,
He's
here's,
got a video out. He's got a beard and everything. Looks like a wizard and shit.
you should look into the Rosicrucian order.
Man, that shit. I don't get into that shit, man. No,
No, no, no, no. There's a guy. I think he was the Grand Master of both the Masons and the Rosicrucians, and they had a big hand in the development of the United States. Okay, it's very widely known. There's hints. There's evidence. There's stuff in there that the Masonic Lodge had some role to play in the whole founding of the country. Okay, and so just, yeah, if you look into the Rosicrucians, they are strictly Christian, whereas the Masons, all they require is that you believe in a higher power. So even I could be a Mason as long as I believe in a creational power. It doesn't matter if it's a stone, a tree. You have to believe in some form of intelligent design. And so that is the big difference, and that's kind of where the warring factions come from. But they also come together with a lot of the things that they've done inside the country as far as collaborating. I
well,
forget the guy, but you could see his lectures from the 1930s. If any of you guys know who it is, let me know.
here's what I learned. What I learned was that you can be a devil worshiper and still be in the Church of Christ or the Mormon religion,
Not
and
true.
it. Nah, but
Not true.
that's why I want to ask you because this guy was saying, I don't know, he was saying that that's where a lot of people hide their Satanism and stuff like that as you get higher. And he said,
No.
well, he said you'd be shocked and surprised at all the people that are in high offices and stuff like that. Just like what you said when you said, did you take that guy up on his offer to be a Freemason or get in? I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
and I said no, and you said you should have done it. Why?
Why are they
Why
not?
should I have taken it?
Get
I'm
up
just
there now. Hold on a second. I got to deal with Sam. Lay down now. Lay down. Lay down. Okay, not right now. Stop. Okay, I'll take you out in a minute. Okay, you're just gonna have to wait. Um, stop. Um, so why are they not? Because I have got, let's, okay, brother Lowell. Okay, he's part of the quorum of the 70. That's starting to get all the way up there. I got to know him. He was probably one of the most Christ-like people I've ever met in my whole entire life.
yeah,
I've met a lot of stake
yeah, yeah.
leaders and stuff like that. And I would say the thing is there, it's Christian propaganda, because Christians don't see Mormons as Christians, although they believe the same thing. And why is it okay for the Catholics to create a book and then the Christians to change it, but it's not okay for the Mormons to do the same thing and say that God told them so?
I'm gonna
You
send
know,
you. I'm gonna send you a picture, okay, of this. 'Cause it kind of like fascinating because like about an hour and some odd minutes, and for something like that to keep my attention, it it it, it blew my mind at the stuff that he knew. He was talking about wizardry. He was talking about
it's okay.
warlock. He's talking about witchcraft. He was talking about uh, there's two
Now,
types
my
of hold on, wait. There's two types of masons. One is for 28. The other one is for 20 or for 9. It's like Irish in Europe or something like that. And I don't fully understand all that, but he was saying that you can get to 32 by combining all of them, and then 32 is the highest. But not many people know you can go to 33. And he was one of these guys who was like a
Yeah,
30.
I've seen that documentary. I know which one you're talking about. Here, one thing though about the Mormon Church, I will say. Okay, so my babysitter, right before you took custody of me and I went down to Fort Ord, um, my babysitter was LDS, but he was also practicing, I think it was wizardry with black magic emphasis, and I got to see his spell books and everything else like that. But once that becomes known within the church, you're stripped of everything. You're allowed to come and congregate because everyone's welcome. It's God's house. But as far as getting priesthood, as far as having any role to play within the church, you're basically the black sheep.
No, but
within it, but they're not going to turn you away.
what he's saying is these people don't know. And
Mm,
they're these are secrets inside the Mormon church that, and I was going to ask you about it. Like I say, you were into it, but you wouldn't know anything about it because it's such a secret. Hardly anyone knew about it.
No, I did a lot of research on the Mormon Church, and I even spoke about it this morning in my private live stream. And here's the real history of the Mormon Church and what people really need to understand what Joseph Smith was doing. Okay, during the 1830s, there was a religious revival. Okay, and it was tearing apart towns because everybody was, and Joseph Smith talks about this leading up to his first vision, is that there was everybody that was that in his family were in different factions, and they were all warring against each other, and it was tearing apart the town. So he goes into the woods trying to figure out how to save his family and comes back with the whole first vision. And we find out that it's a hoax, not only from the guy that he claims helped him translate it later on. And they said that the guy that translated it wasn't even allowed to see it. He was just told to write something down. Now, that sounds very plausible, especially when you read the 1856 Deseret article where Brigham Young the um, talks about the first vision, which is nothing what the final version is that you see in modern day. So a lot of that has changed. Now, Joseph Smith, under pressure from his members, did the what's called the Book of Abraham, which was basically a complete hoax, but he was trying to keep everything together, so he lied about it. After the 1906 fire in Chicago, that was one of the few remaining items that actually survived, and it turns out to be a burial scroll for some guy named Horus. It has nothing to do with Abraham or anything else to do with that. It was all a false translation. Um,
Wow.
but the thing is he was pressured into it. Joseph Smith was trying to not save his family and build something that they could believe in, and that's really where it all boils down to. That's why family and community are so important within the church, whereas you don't see it within any other part of
Wow.
Christianity.
Anyway, I was just seeing, wondering if you've seen this guy or whatever. Evidently, you have. So I just thought it was quite interesting, and thought I'd bring it up to your attention because I had, you know me, I don't get into stuff like that. That's like, I'm a 20-year vet, and I go to the VFW because my friends are there, and I don't join it because I don't like to belong to stuff like that.
Why?
And I just don't. It just like I don't. The only club I ever belonged to in my life was when I was a weeblo. After that, and then the military, that's it. I don't belong to
Uh,
any clubs. So anyway,
uh,
I just don't join clubs, and it just bothers me when people ask me. Like they ask me, "Well, why don't you join?"
mm-hmm,
I looked at them. I said, "Because I don't want to." And you know what they say?
hmm,
Oh, continue on with the conversation. I don't have to
yeah.
give I don't have to give anyone an explanation. It's like because I don't want to, and I don't have to give you a reason. I just and I didn't want to carry on a conversation with the individual anyway. So because they asked too many stupid questions.
Okay, let's get to some questions. So, Beth, thanks for your comment. It is interesting. Invisible Man, what's going on? He says hi to you too, old man. Yes, he's in Florida. So I'm on the West Coast. He's on the East Coast. So we're coming to you from coast to coast. Good place to lunch from. Okay. Samantha. Okay. Profound. Okay. Buckna. I don't know if he's here. Um, is it because you have to say an oath or something? Like, what's the real prequel? She wants to know. Like, is it you don't do it? You don't join the club because you don't want to make an oath. You don't want to follow through on a commitment. You just don't like being part of the crowd. What?
I'm my
What's
own.
up, Slim?
I am my own person, and I don't like following the crowd. And if someone tells me to go left, I'm going right, and if someone says straight, I'm going backwards.
And you
So
wonder why I don't follow your advice. The apple
no,
doesn't fall far from the tree.
no, you know why? Because I did it for 20 years in the military, and I told people what to do, and I don't like being told what to do. So you know what? I don't like being told what to do. So screw them. I don't give a crap. And you know what? I'm retired, and
Share it, Slim. Let us know. Put it in all caps.
yeah, because I can.
Okay. Well, I
Uh,
mean, that's your thing. So what? Okay, if what three lessons did you learn from being in the army? Oh, you did 20 years exact, right? You didn't stay a day longer.
nope, not a day
No.
longer.
Not a day longer. Okay, so what was the top three lessons that you learned in life from spending 20 years in the military?
It's a very grueling and very rewarding job, and a lot of sacrifices. And
Mm,
with those sacrifices, you got to be able to put up with it because not only is it just your professional life, it's your family life too. So you're living everything every day. So you live in real life every day. So if you're gonna be at home with your family, eating dinner, next evening you might be somewhere like in Desert Storm or over in Korea or something like that. You know,
yeah.
on a
Actually, tell
deployment.
us about your experience because you were one of the first ones deployed over there in Desert Shield before it became no. It was what was it? It was Desert Shield and then it became Desert Storm, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you getting those orders to deploy, what was it like?
Oh, well, I was already in the First Armor Division. We weren't supposed to be deployed because we were already deployed in Europe. So it was precedented that the First Armor Division, which was already a forward deployed division, being redeployed over to Iraq or yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Anyway,
How
so
long does it take to get there and get set up? Like, cause it took a couple months before we crossed the border, but how long did it take you to get set up and get ready to go?
I think we left like in October, and whenever the war started, which was I don't remember, probably like maybe April, maybe about 6 months,
So it
5.
took 6 months to get the whole forces ready, deployed. Did they didn't wait a moment longer? They just kind of sat there, just waited for everything to get together. It took that long.
Well, you also got to remember Turkey was being a bitch. Turkey wasn't going to let us come up, and because we wanted to go through Turkey, which was a NATO country, and Eldoron, who is there now, who is a prick. Uh, Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe we'll get
Yeah,
canceled.
you're fine.
Anyway, Eldoron, who's the president there now, uh, didn't let the U.S. troops go through, so they had to take the troops that they were promised at first, thinking they could do it, take them out and move all the way back around and redeploy them into something else. But that
Oh, okay. So it was a logistics issue because Turkey was being a brat.
Yeah, because we were supposed to use their land so we could have our troops over there, right? And he said no at the last minute. So anyway, but there was just a lot of troops there, a lot of things, our important thing was they wanted us to make sure that the who the Kuwaiti army was the first ones to roll into Kuwait because they wanted to be the ones to tell the population that they liberated them, which was fine with the United States. We didn't care as long as we got in there and finished the war and went home. So everybody went home to United States, and we went home to Europe. So which is pretty fun.
Okay, and so you were there for what, a year or two?
No, a little less than 6 months.
Ah, okay. You know what's funny? You remember that Desert Storm chocolate that you brought back and you showed my school when you got back when you came back from Desert Storm?
Hey,
You
I
you
gave you
remember that?
one whole case of them or something.
No, you gave me a bunch of them. You realize those things melted in my pocket?
They shouldn't have.
I know. I was like, no, they melted. These aren't. They lied to you.
They were
Cause yeah,
nasty. You can only eat so many of those, and then give them to your friends, and then your friends don't even like them anymore. So
it
anyway,
was that bad, huh?
no, if like
So lay down. Stop. Okay, this is not the time. Stop. Go
hey,
ahead.
why don't you take her out? I'll just sit here for a minute or two.
Okay. Well, you've got some questions then, because Beth has been asking some questions and stuff like that. Let me take her out real quick then.
All right, okay.
Um. All
Question
right.
Doug need to get
Come on, Sam.
in
Let's go.
capsule. Have thought behind this. uh, oh, my dad wasn't a drill sergeant. My dad was he was a recruiter, and he was in the army for about 25 years, which is Jason's grandpa. So he he was he passed away. What going to be on 2 years? Yeah. So anyway, anything else? Hmm.
Come on, come on. Get up here. Let's go. Come on. Get up here. Samantha, let's go. Come on. Samantha, up here. Come on.
Hmm.
On your bed.
Your thoughts and okay, Steve, Whitney. I probably scared everybody away, Jason, or Pep,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's fine. Okay, so they were asking, I know they were asking something about your service. What, like, so you were in communications. Um, you were in communications. So, like, what was it like with the communications out there? So,
Boring,
um, oh, you
boring.
told him about Papa being in 23 years?
He was in 25 years.
Oh, I was always told 23, 25. Okay.
It could have
Yeah.
been 25. I don't know, but anyway. Man, I thought everybody
Okay.
be asking me about the story about you growing up.
Okay. Well, did you tell him?
Not yet.
Okay. Oh, you need to see my look on my face. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I had
Yeah.
two
Well.
stories. I had two stories to tell. The one, you know how you got your scar on your head?
Oh yeah, the T.
Yeah, where I punched you in your head and you went crying to your mom, and your mom punched you across the T. Yeah, the other T. Yeah.
That did not happen. That did not happen. I
Oh,
remember
oh,
how the
wait,
second
wait.
one happened for sure,
This
and
is
that's
this thing.
definitely
Let me
not
let
what
me tell you
happened.
exactly what happened. Yeah, this is what happened. You were running your ass off, and I said, "Stop running."
I
And
sped up.
let me tell the story. Your mom and I are sitting there, and we're looking at it, and you just keep going around, and I snatch you like that, and I went pop like that, and you had like a little thing going up and down, right? And I said, "Stop running." So I put your ass down. What the hell did you do next? You went
I
round and around again. So your mom snatched your ass up and went pop. And that's how you got the little T on your head.
No, if you're gonna tell a story, you should be really good at it.
No, no,
That's
look at
not really
no,
what happened, everybody,
show
but
them.
we'll let that be the story so that we can have documented child abuse. He even openly admitted it right here. So,
Oh, you don't want me to tell when I whooped your ass, do you? Oh, Jason's getting a beating. That's the one I really want to tell.
oh
Uh,
no, I've already told him how you run away. Oh, my back, my back, my back. Ever since I beat you, you ain't fought me since, and you still like, no, that didn't happen because I hurt your pride. So, mm. Okay, so this is along the lines of human seeding theory, Anunnaki. We share 98% DNA with chimpanzees, and it takes 2% of our DNA to have the capacity to talk, language, etc. So, my thought is, did the Anunnaki, okay, we're waiting for the rest of the question. Okay. Um,
let me
um,
let me ask the audience this question. Does anyone know how we came up with the word Anunnaki? Just
no.
curious. Let's see if the audience knows. Okay, let's give them a few minutes.
Bucknut, yeah, same to you, Bucknut.
It
Yeah,
was citizen abuse is what it was actually. But anyway.
yeah, well, you know what? That's fair trade considering the child abuse.
Child abuse my ass. You were threatening to beat me up, so guess what? I had to prove that the old man could whoop off in your ass, and all the kids around the street saw me whooping your ass. And one kid saw me, I was whooping your ass. He went around and said, "Hey, everyone, come around here. Jason's dad's whooping his ass." And there was like about 20 kids around there when I was whooping your ass. So don't try it. You
That
know,
was the last time that ever happened too, because the next time I flipped you over on your back, and you ain't never fought me since. Yes, I know. You got to remember the heydays because you don't want to remember that bruised ego, old man.
no, you know why I did that? Because
Why?
you got up and let me up because you thought I was hurt, and then I whipped your ass. And you was down. That's how come the kids was yelling. Look at that stupid ass getting his whooped by his dad.
Yeah, so that tells you right there. He cheats when he fights.
There
So,
ain't no rules in fighting, brother.
uh-huh,
Oh,
uh-huh. You're
evidently, Evidently, you didn't learn that lesson still to this day.
I was trying to be fair with you. Anyone else I wouldn't have, but I was trying to be nice to you. And I learned that being nice to
Oh,
you. I
yeah.
learned that being nice to you
Yeah.
what was probably my biggest mistake. And so I finally, once I wised up, that's when I
Uh,
whooped your ass. So tell us, I'll see you can handle the truth. Why did it happen? What kind of misbehaving Tuck was doing? Oh no, he just get a wild hair up his ass and come out and just like get over here. Next thing I know, I come. Next thing, here's the claw, and fucking, I'd be squealing
oh,
like a
yeah.
little bitch.
Oh,
Yeah.
the claw. Oh, that was he. Yeah, that was funny. He ran like a little bitch on the claw. Yeah, and you know what? Jim Carrey stole that from me. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, he did not. You
Yes, he
stole
did.
that
I
from him.
invented it before that movie even came out. But anyway, you. I remember you were 13, 14, something like that. You'd start pissing me off, and then I'd go like this, and he'd go, the claw, and he'd start running like a little sissy down the hall into the bathroom. And it's like, get
Yeah.
up the bathroom. And don't, hey, am I right or wrong?
I will say that you had me for a while until finally, like I said, the first time I whooped your ass, the next time you tried to play that with me years later, I had your ass in the bathroom. My back, my back, my back, my back, like a little bitch.
That didn't sound right. In the bathroom, my back, that didn't sound right, Jason. Yeah.
Well,
That
it was
was good.
it was our
Hey,
version
you
of
got to cut
Brokeback
that out.
Mountain.
That wasn't good. Damn. Yeah, that,
See,
hey,
comedians steal jokes often. Yes, okay. What's up, Friar? What's up, Cherokee? Nice to see you.
oh, hey,
Um,
hey, I didn't tell him about my dog that I lost or died, did I?
which uh, oh no, 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 no. No, do not talk about your dog. Do not, you cannot do that. No, that will definitely get me demonetized at the bare minimum. Do not tell that story. I think it's funny as shit, but don't tell it. Okay. Um yeah, this will be
It's
something
the
when
dog.
we go guys, when we do our behind the scenes over on Patreon, I'll tell you the story. It's funny as shit. Um Oh no. Oh. But I gotta tell you, I can't tell you on YouTube. I'd get in trouble.
See
So,
the devious mind that I have. See,
oh yes, you've been
it
trying
rubs
to
off.
peddle that joke for years and it ain't worked. You
Yes, it
still
did.
can't even get it out the delivery right.
Because I'm laughing through the thing entirely, man. It's tough. I
Uh-huh.
even thinking about it, you got to start laughing. Come on, man.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I wonder what the heck is it? You got whenever you tell them, they're gonna be laughing too. Ha ha ha.
Ha 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 ha. Okay.
All I'm saying is, I reserve all the rights to that joke. Don't even
Okay.
tell. I reserve all rights to it. So if you tell it, they can't repeat it. That's
Oh,
my
okay.
joke.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
putting
All
copyright.
right, Scrooge. All right, Scrooge. It's not $1 million joke. It is funny, but it's not $1 million joke.
So you know
It's
what?
more of
So,
an inside joke than
wait.
anything.
More, hey, you know what? A smart person will take that and figure out how to work with it. Well, yeah, they will. Watch. It's,
Probably.
you can work. You can work anything into that, especially if you got a girlfriend. You got a girlfriend. Hey, you see my dog?
Oh, wow. Hey,
Hey,
did you see what
go.
Bucknut said?
Huh?
Did you see what Bucknut said? Is
No.
it funnier than when you woke up in the alley next to the trans bar, all cuddled up with a bear and a sore ass? Delivery is tricky part of the joke telling. Your dad had left us a cliffhanger last time. Yes, he did. So, and I bet that there's a lot of people getting offended or something along those lines because you know what, you know, if you're gonna show up in chat, especially when it comes to me and my old man, you got to expect it's gonna be a lot like Howard Stern, you know. So, um, but uh do it again. um I don't know if you're asking for a sore ass again or if you're asking for him to leave you a cliffhanger again.
Well, I tell you what. When you hear about my dog, you'll understand why it's such a classified information. It's such classified information. It's hard to tell without laughing. And once you start laughing, you'll yeah. Ooh,
Yeah, that one.
especially
That one. I think I did do a video on it when I was there before I went out on trail. I did do a video on that. It was a little short. I put it up on Facebook. I gotta see if I can find it again.
yeah, I
Send it
don't
to
think
you.
anyone looked at it because it didn't have any talent, whatever.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Tuck will try anything once, twice if to make sure he doesn't like it. Yes, this is the harassment I get from Bucknut. So,
No, that's all right. Where's he from?
he's Michigan area. So,
Oh,
yeah. So he's but anyways, yeah, he's up there. Um, yeah, it's yeah. You got to ask him. He'll tell you. Tell them the story about getting arrested for blowing bubbles in the park, dude. I didn't realize when they said blowing bubbles that it was actually a dude. There's your punchline.
That is
So,
that's just like in that movie. Uh, don't wear plaid with what's his face in what's his face in it. Oh, black men don't wear. Anyway, what happened was went away and he was writing a letter to his mom, and his mom was wanting to get a job. When he got there, so he wrote. He said, "Yeah, Susan promised me a blow job tomorrow, so I got to get up early in the morning." So I thought it was pretty funny.
uh, yeah, it would have been, yeah. I mean,
What
if
was
if
that?
the
That was with,
talent if the talent was better on the delivery, yeah, that would have worked.
what was the what was oh man,
Oh,
what was
fuck,
his
fuck
name?
that. Say what?
I can't think of the actor's name, the comedian that played that. White men don't wear plaid or something like that.
Huh? You sure it wasn't White Men Can't Jump?
No, not that one. It's with the dude that had the big old long nose. Shit, what's his name?
Huh?
Oh
Pee Wee Herman?
no, man! In the show, he was with a black family and he was in rhythm. Remember? And then he go
I
like this, and
I don't
like,
remember the movie.
oh
No.
man, oh shit! It's on the top of my tongue. What's the name of that dude? Help me out, crowd! Come on, audience, you can help me. What is it?
Well, we'll figure it out later. Don't worry
Uh,
about the name of the movie. Ben Stiller? Did it
no,
have Ben Stiller in it?
no. This
No.
guy was a star. He was a comedian, and
From what era?
talking in the 80s.
Okay. Would it be
He was on
oh, sh-
Saturday Night
they did
Live.
like this the See No Evil, Hear No Evil? Was it like Richard Simmons or something like that?
Here it is. He'd always say, "Wild and crazy guys."
Okay. Don't know who he is.
Maybe
These
the
guys
audience,
might know.
wild and crazy guys. What's his name? Oh my gosh. Oh,
Oh, Bucknut, that's not fair.
uh,
He says, "We can't have two special guests on at the same time. You're not supposed to go full retard."
Poor retard.
Chris Farley?
Uh,
No, Chris Farley was more like the 90s though.
he was
Um
good. He was good in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, and the same guy was in it with him too. Trains, and
Trains,
Automobiles.
Planes, Automobiles. You talking about not the short little midget guy, he played like Penguin?
No, no. He played in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. No, no, that was John Candy. I'm sorry, that was my mistake. That was John Candy. No,
Steve Martin?
Steve. Yep, Steve Martin. That's who it is. Yeah. Who
Okay,
got?
so Naked Gun.
Oh, Beth got it. Yeah. Thank you, Beth. Appreciate you. Save the old man. There we go.
Oh, yeah, he even plays the banjo. Yeah. Um yeah, he did a lot of good slapstick comedy in the 80s.
Yeah, he did Airplane too, wasn't it? Yeah.
But he wasn't that funny. I mean, Naked Gun was pretty much the only one of his movies I think that really took off.
He was more like dry humor because the dry humor also was on the British side. Remember the guy? Oh, Monty Python. Everyone thought
Okay.
that was so funny. I tried watching. Everyone said that was. I thought there was real dry humor, and I didn't like it.
You know,
Did the audience like it? I didn't like it.
I wasn't much. Oh, that's Leslie Nielsen. Okay.
Yes,
Um.
you're right. It was Leslie Nielsen. Right? Yeah.
Okay. Wrong white
Wrong
guy.
white guy.
Hey, they all look the same, man.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well,
um, but I just, uh, yeah. So what's your what if what's your favorite movie of all time?
oh, well, my favorite movie of all time. You're gonna think it's kind of funny and weird, but Wizard of Oz
Why?
has a lot to do with family and believing in oneself and dreams.
Really? I never picked that up from that. I just saw some little girl following the yellow brick road, finding the wizard behind the curtain.
Hmm. And
Okay,
have,
but
having faith and believing in something. She
okay.
had faith and belief in her and her family. That's what she was trying to get back to. And to me, the whole movie was about family and how she wanted to get back to her grandmother and everyone. And she was so worried about them. And then the three, like the straw man and the lion and
Uh-huh.
the tin man, uh, perfect. To me, it was a perfect script. It was probably the most best
But
script
that was
ever in
like a
the
state of
wide
the art
world.
movie when you were a kid, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. Actually, I remember when it was in black and white. Then it came out in the famous Technicolor. But I
Mm-hmm.
always remember when it always we didn't have you didn't have cable, you didn't have satellite, you didn't have anything like you have today. What it was is we lived on post, and the signal that you got was from the rabbit ears. Well, I think it was on ABC every year, right around August, September, because that was the time we'd always go back to school and we'd all be out playing and everything else like that. And in the morning, prior to that evening, mom would say, "Kids, come in early in the evening, so that way you can watch Wizard of Oz." Well, us kids, we're out there playing. We lost the track of time, and mom would always, just like clockwork, she'd always call all of us kids' names, and we'd all come in. We'd all take a bath. We didn't take a shower at the time. We all took a bath, and then we sat down in front of the TV and always watched every year at the same time whenever they showed it, The Wizard of Oz. And I always remember mom and dad and the whole family. We all got together, and that was the time that we spent together. And that's why it's my favorite movie.
Huh. Okay. Beth says her favorite movie is Caddyshack.
Good movie.
Uh,
Good movie.
Bucknut said, um, uh, s- okay, no, he was just making a joke. Slapshot or Hot Hookers from Outer Space. Um,
Oh, I
okay.
saw that one. That was pretty good, but uh, yeah, that's
What you
another
talking about? Earth?
that's another story though.
Yeah.
That's a story from Korea. Well, that's another
Oh
day.
dear God, I don't want to know. Yeah, I don't know.
It
Yeah.
has to do something with a basket and stuff. So I don't know.
Okay. What? I'm not gonna go there. But okay, guys.
Just saying.
This is our 2 minute warning. So if you have any questions you want to ask the old man about any of the things that we've talked about, you guys want to ask me. This is our last live stream of the week. Just a reminder that hey, Stephanie is the sponsor for today's live stream. So we want to say thank you to Stephanie for sponsoring this live stream. And just as a reminder that if you go to openairproperties.net and you get a property between now and the end of the weekend, you will get a coupon to skip a monthly payment anytime this summer. So whenever you need to use it, you just provide her the coupon. You save a month off of your property payment. Which sometimes in a pinch that might actually be a lifesaver, a lifeline when you really need it. And so you want to act before Monday to get the special offer from Stephanie and use the promo code Friar Tuck to get $50 off of your deposit as well as the coupon. So just remember, go check out Stephanie, openairproperties.net. She's got properties in Concho, Arizona, Alamosa, Colorado, and Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas. So if you're interested in property in any of those areas, or if you'd like some in other areas, if you follow the contact link through the description, Stephanie does have other investors that she might be able to pair you with if you're looking in other areas. So just because she may not have one in the area that you know of, she might be able to connect you with somebody. And that's still a connect for her, because everybody builds relationships. But just a reminder, Stephanie, we appreciate you sponsoring this channel, especially sponsoring this episode with me and my old man. And so our thanks go out to you, and our gratitude go out to you. So, old man, you got anything you want to say before we close out?
Oh yeah, somebody asked me
That's
what military. I was in the Signal Corps.
Oh yeah, you were in communications. So night, all right, night, Invisible Man. Have you seen the Village of the Rammed? You sure it's not Village of the Damned, or is this a porn that we're talking? Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that word. Oh well. Um, I'm looking for a patch of dirt to roll around. Maybe open air properties can help. Yeah, ball of worms. They're very reasonable price properties. You got to realize that with inflation going up, people losing their jobs, they're going to be looking for inexpensive payments. I pay less than $200 a month for my 1 acre of land here in Concho, Arizona. You too could own a piece of land for around $200 a month, and you could pay it off in a couple of years. It's all owner finance. That's the great thing about Stephanie is she's about believing in you, the customer, more than worrying about the profit. Now that's the normal course of business, but she has more of a humane side to her, which is one of the main reasons why I really love doing business with you. Because even on her website, she says that she's your cheerleader and she's in it to win it with you. And the experience I've had with her over the last 6 months is that if she has the ability to help you along the way, she definitely will. That's the great thing about her. She has a good heart. So what else did you have to say, old man?
Um,
A few hard man. Oh dear God. No, we're not talking. Yeah, okay. Tuck has great deal. Yes. Go ahead, old man.
oh, just that I don't really have too much to say except just you guys do some of your research on. Someone was talking about the Arctic last time we were up here last week.
Mhm.
I was wondering if they had done any research and if they had something to report. So I would like to know if anyone's looking other than myself. I did some research on it.
Are you talking about the Admiral? What's his name? Admiral Byrd?
No, no, no. We're talking about research that's going on now and why we're not any country or whatever isn't allowed to go down to the Antarctic.
Yeah, well, I think that yeah, that's the
And
after
it,
World War II, the Americans were chasing the Nazis all over the world, and there was rumors that some of them went to the South Pole. And then you get the story of Admiral Byrd, where he finds a hole in the earth, and the people live in this hole in the earth, and the whole 9 yards. That's what I thought that's what you'd be talking about.
no, I do know about that, but no, I'm just talking about recently what's going on in the Arctic. And actually, you gotta look what's going on in Greenland too, because the United States, Russia, and China, that waterway is about ready to open up, and it's going to
It's
be
already open.
well, it's going to be, they're making it a strategic waterway, and we need to get into Greenland. And I'm really a lot into politics and geopolitics, and I
Uh-huh.
sure do love talking about what's
But
going
we're
on in China. So if you ever want to talk about stuff like that, I'm
Well, we're kind of shying away from that because of just how YouTube feels about that. That's why we've kind of gotten away from the news, because I was getting throttled back and
uh,
demonetized. Yeah.
I,
Yeah, YouTube, we've talked about it publicly and privately, the amount of censorship that goes on with YouTube. You don't even know, like, I got some morning videos that were demonetized, and I don't even know why. They won't tell you. They're just like, it's not suitable, which is their way of saying we don't like what you said, so therefore we're not going to put you out. Because if they're not making money on it via ad revenue, they're not gonna send your video out. So that's a way to indirectly be shadow banned. And so this is something that's going on in all social media.
Mhm.
We talk about it, but that's kind of why why we're building a community over on Patreon, because privacy is it's something you now have to pay for. It's no longer free. So, all right, guys, thanks for being here. We will see you guys again next Friday. Thank you, old man, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll give you a call right afterwards for a quick minute. All right, talk to you later, guys. See you next week.